I'm going to show you a picture of a young lady. Her name is Tanya Thomas. I don't know if you all can see that picture. Tanya Thomas. We're going to discuss her briefly during this live stream. Thank you for joining me. KCRA News 3 is the source if you need verification. A second woman was killed at Mule Creek State Prison in Lone last year during a conjugal visit with her husband's, officials said. Now, this was pertaining to Miss Stephanie Dow, 62. But when it comes to this young lady, she died months beforehand, which is very interesting because the news people are saying they hadn't even heard that she had passed away. So this is a very wicked information. Her name is Tanya Vanessa Corpus Thomas. We were born and raised in San Francisco. We were raised by her grandparents, Janine Rojo said. She and Thomas were first cousins. We've literally been together since birth, she said. Rojo said Thomas was a single mother to a 25-year-old son who is now in the Air Force. It's just tragic what happened, Rojo said. Her family learned Thomas died on July 1st, 2024. She said that Thomas spent more than half her life battling lupus, but the disease is not what killed her. For her to be taken away this way, it's gut-wrenching, Rojo said. The Amador County District Attorney tells KCRA3 investigates that Thomas' husband, 48-year-old Anthony Curry, is charged with her murder, but he has not been arraigned yet. Okay. Thomas's family said Curry is accused of strangling Thomas during a conjugal visit at Mule Creek State Prison. Thomas was found unconscious in a family visiting unit by prison staff called to the scene, according to the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation. CDCR also said that Amador County Coroner's Office determined Thomas's death was a homicide in December. Curry was received into CDCR's custody from Contra Costa County, July 24, 2008. He was sentenced to life with the possibility of parole for attempted second-degree murder with enhancements for intentional discharge of a firearm causing great bodily injury. He was also sentenced to 13 years for carjacking and enhancements of using a firearm. Court records show the attempted murder conviction was a result of the 1999 shooting of his 19-year-old girlfriend at the time. He shot a girl in the head and dumped her body, so he left her body for dead, Rojo said. And I believe it was at a truck stop or something, or on the side of the highways where he dumped the body of the young lady. It says she was found at a remote truck stop in Richmond with a gunshot wound to the head. It left her permanently blind and partially paralyzed, court records state. He's a violent person, Rojo said. She said that she had no idea her cousin had even had conjugal visits with Curry. With that history of severe violence, why are they being allowed to have these visits unsupervised? She said. She decided to go public with her concerns after she saw the story of Dow's death in November. The Amador County coroner also found that Dow's was strangled at Mule Creek State Prison. It happened during a conjugal visit with her husband, David Brinson, a 4-time convicted murderer. No one has been charged with Dow's killing. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation said the prison's criminal investigation is still underway. I was sick to my stomach. I was in tears, Rojo said about learning of Dow's death. Rojo felt that she could no longer stay silent. I'm not against conjugal visits. However, there's already 2 murders at Mule Creek. What can be done to prevent this from happening again, Rojo asked. Maybe put more prison guards out to do more safety checks, anything to save another life. The CDCR website shows that inmates cannot have conjugal visits if they're on death row, convicted of sex offenses, going through the reception process upon arrival to a prison, or under disciplinary restrictions. It makes no mention of convictions for violent crimes. CDCR sent the following statement in response to KCRA3 investigates inquiry about family visits. CDCR family visits are a privilege, and incarcerated persons must apply and meet strict eligibility criteria to be approved. Only those who demonstrate sustained good behavior and meet specific program requirements are considered. These visits are designed to support positive family connections and successful rehabilitation. For more details on eligibility and the application process, please visit types of visitation information. It says CDCR follows established procedures regarding family visit security measures, including conducting regular counts during the visits, as well as inspections and searches when the need arises. For details on family visits, you can go to the Department of Operations manual. It states inmates have to present themselves for a count at least 4 times per 24 hour, and the watch commander can order unscheduled inspections, but the manual also explains that every effort shall be made to ensure the privacy of the inmate and their visitors. KCRA 3 is the source. So Tanya Thomas is no longer alive because last summer she was murdered by her husband, Mr. Curry, 48-year-old Anthony Curry. Okay. Attempted second-degree murder with enhancements for intentional discharge of a firearm causing great bodily injury. Also, he's got 13 years for carjacking using a firearm. This is pertaining to a 1999 shooting, the first charge, of his 19-year-old girlfriend at the time. Shot her in the head and dumped her body. So he left her body for dead at a remote truck stop. Welcome to the Vault Excel, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So, hold on one second. Hello, everybody. Let me get this clown out of here. Hold on. What is sad is the fact that nobody knew about this lady who I'm speaking of, Tanya. And she died before Stephanie. Okay? Tanya died in July, and Miss Stephanie died in November. What's the problem? Why are you all hiding the death of Tanya? You mean to tell me nobody in California knew that this lady died while on the property of a prison? So now her cousin is speaking out. This is ridiculous that nobody knew. Nobody knew. Nobody finds this strange that nobody knew that this lady died by the hands of her husband, okay? So now we have 2 women who have died by strangulation from their married inmate husbands at Mule Creek. Now, as I told you before, Mr. Brinson, who killed Miss Stephanie, 62, he's been moved to another facility. I don't know if it's a stricter prison, but he has been moved. But he has not been charged in her murder. They're still investigating and doing the autopsy and everything pertaining to Miss Stephanie. Are they going to change the rules? Take the polls on my community page pertaining to Miss Stephanie, her crime. This is ridiculous. You already have a dead woman from July, and you're still letting people come in and have conjugal visits with your inmates. You're still allowing these men to have sex with women in closed doors, locked rooms. And the fact that you're saying they got to pop their head out 4 times in 24 hours, well, how long do you think it takes to murder a person? It doesn't take long at all. See, we don't even know how long Stephanie was in that room murdered. Now, as I said in my commentary, I think he may have killed her as soon as she got in the room. I don't really know. They just said in the middle of the night, he called and said she was passed out. Okay, now we're going back to July, where this woman was murdered by her husband. He already shot a woman and left her for dead, a 19-year-old girl many years ago. Hello? You got to ask that lady, what? She's dead, though. Why would you want a man who tried to kill someone and dump their body out? And then you would go date this person, visit this person, probably send them money, whatever, visit, then now conjugal visit, don't know how many visits they had, and you're now dead. You didn't think that you thought he changed? He didn't change. So I'm wondering how long did he let her get in the room before he killed her? This is absolutely crazy. There don't need to be any rules. There can't be rules once a door is closed. It's just like in your own house. You allow somebody in your house, there's nothing anybody can do to save you once the door is closed. Once you close the door, as my aunt would say, God rest her soul, all bets are off. There's no help for you when the door is shut. So it doesn't matter if you're in a camper, your home, a hotel, Airbnb, hell, a car door. Once you're alone with a stranger, you are on your own. And both of these women should have known better. Stephanie, 62, she's dead. Okay? She's dead. And Mr. Brinson hasn't been charged in her death yet. He killed 4 people during a robbery, thinking the man had drugs or something or money. And they said, as I was listening to Profiling Evil, it wasn't even a big amount of whatever he got out of there. But he killed 4 people when he was a young man in his 20s. Okay, that's still a lot of people. That's 4 dead people. Now, what those people were doing, not doing, legal, illegal, that was for God to rectify, not you. Could there have been their karma coming back? I don't know, just throwing it out there. But the point is, he still murdered 4 people. This elderly lady, 9 years older than him, took up with him. Don't know how many times she visited, don't know how many times she had a conjugal visit. She's dead. Now, we've got TANIA. She's no longer alive. So I don't know how many visits she had with her husband, Mr. Curry. The fact that they were thinking about paroling him after he shot a girl in the head and threw her out. He would have been walking free at some point if they paroled him. So what do you think he would have done when he got with a female? What he just did to that lady in that room? Same damn thing, okay? I sure will. Hold on one second. Let me cover it up for you. How about that? This is ridiculous. Mule Creek, it is time to dismantle this conjugal visit program. It's not working. You all are going to get sued for both deaths. Even though these women made a decision to take up with killers or attempted murderer / the guy who killed the 4 people. But they died on your property. And you implemented the rules to allow these men to have company behind closed doors. And now we have 2 dead women who have died on your property, your prison. You're going to have to stand account for that. Now, as I said, some of you may feel like these women are attributed to their deaths, their murders. Take the polls on my community page. I do have that as a poll. Do you feel like now we have 2? These 2 women are attributed to their own demise by going on a conjugal visit with one who was an attempted murderer versus one who killed 4 people. Either way, they're dead. They're not coming back, these women. And we don't have to agree with what they felt for these men, if it was love, if it was infatuation, lust on either part. It's neither here nor there now because they're dead. I think we all know at this point in their cases, it was not love. It was not love by the men. They did not love these women because they don't know how to love. And as I've always said about being incarcerated, you do not learn the true test of life locked up. You need to be free where you have all these temptations. And I'm not saying that, there's not temptations in prison, but your test is out here, not in prison. Out here is where your true test is. And those people had a chance and they fucked up. And more than likely, both will not be getting out of prison. Mr. Brinson was already serving 4 consecutive life sentences for that robbery back in the 90s. Now we have this other guy, Mr. Curry. He had a chance at parole, but he effed that up by killing Miss Thomas. So I don't see him getting out. He's going to die in prison where he should be. And Mr. Brinson, he was, I believe, facing the death penalty for his crimes, if I'm not mistaken, but decided to, go ahead and plea out and just take the consecutive life sentences. Well, California does not have the death penalty, to my understanding, and I think it needs to come back. And Mr. Brinson should be first in line. And he deserves, in my opinion, the firing squad. Give him what he gave those four guys. And Miss Stephanie. And what is sad is these women probably thought they really were in love. They thought these men loved them, and they thought these men were rehabilitated. They thought talking to them about God and Allah and the good book, that they meant well, that they were redeemed. Only God can do the redeeming, not humans. And that's what humans need to understand about forgiveness and redemption. You can forgive a person for what they've done to you and other people, but in the end, it is up to God to decide their fate, not you. And only God knows if the person is genuine about what they said they did, done, what they've been accused of, charged with, that they have remorse. Only God knows if they actually feel remorse. You're not going to know until it's too late. So now we're 2-0 at Mule Creek. 2 women, 2 inmates, both died by strangulation. Go figure. Why? Why? It's just so horrible to even think that a person could die going to see someone in prison. When I first saw the story about Stephanie the other day, I just assumed she died in an open room, like the day room, because I didn't even open the article just yet. And my spirit was like, don't open that, don't touch that. But when I opened the article and read conjugal visit, I was like, you got to be kidding me. And now we're hearing from this lady who's come out to talk about her cousin because she heard about Stephanie's murder. She's like, wait a minute, my cousin just died in July 2024. And nobody knew that that lady was murdered on a prison campus. Why not? Because you all hid that. And as she said, how many more women have died during a conjugal visit in the prison system? Are we going to be mortified to find out some other deaths have been covered up, that other women have been murdered while visiting an inmate on a conjugal visit? My advice to Mule Creek is to go ahead and cut you 2 checks and shut down this hotel shenanigans. They don't need to be doing nothing. As I said, maybe they feel like, well, they're in here a long time, they're not coming out. They got life sentences, 50 years, whatever, 40. Let's give them some hanky-panky. Well, they don't deserve it. Because you were free once, and you should have thought about that before you got your ass locked up. That's my commentary. Shut it down. All prisons, shut it down. No more conjugal visits. Because both of these women, their families, have a lawsuit to file if they choose to, because you had a dead woman in July, and then months later, November, you have another dead woman at the same damn prison, and you hid the first death in July. So you have some explaining to do. Mad apologies. Don't know if these families will accept them or not, but you owe them that, and you owe the community the truth. And maybe there shouldn't be any visits, period. Not even in a day room with a guard. No visits. No free time with anyone from the outside. I don't care if it's church, counseling, because as I said, once the door is closed, that person, whether they're a woman or a man, they are alone with a person who has unalived a person or people, children, whomever. And you're hoping that what? they're not going to view you the same way. Oh, they've been in here 20, 30 years. They're redeemed. They're changed. Well, as we would say in the street, F around and find out. This ain't what you want. Sometimes you can't help everyone. And this isn't a way to find out if a person is redeemed. Going into a prison setting and then you're coming out in a black bag. That's my commentary. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comments below. Follow me on the News Breakout. And also, if you'd like to donate to this great network, $BeGanji, 129 Cash App. Condolences to the Thomas family and also Miss Stephanie's family. Check out my earlier video pertaining to Miss Stephanie, who died in November. And this past week, the coroner has ruled her death a homicide by strangulation. And Miss Thomas, she also died by strangulation in July 1st of 2024. Will there be justice? Will the programs be shut down? And will these family members sue Mule Creek Prison? They should. They should sue them for every damn dollar they can get from them because they are owed every dollar. Once again, prayers and condolences to the families of Stephanie and Tanya. Thank you all so much for joining me. You all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I'll be back with more stimulating content. You've been listening to the Vault Excel. Thank you.